Hey there, fellow engineers. How has your week been? Woo, awesome. Wow, it sounds like a lot of you had a great week. Well, that makes me feel great. I've had a great week too. But what I've been really excited about is putting this whole project together. Why don't we review our week before we get started? I want to make sure that I understand what we're doing today. So let me think back. Yes. On Monday, we launched the question I have. How can we use forests, lights, and different materials to make an interactive shadow puppet theater? On Tuesday, we started answering that question by addressing force. I wanted a moving rocket ship in my shadow box. So what do we make to move our object? Yes. We make a paper towel roll track to move the car and the rocket back and forth. Are we going to exert force by pushing or pulling on the car? Yes, engineers, you're on it. We're going to make the car move by pulling on it, or I guess the strings. But let's continue. On Wednesday, we tested different blue materials in order to make our light source appear blue. Which materials were best for making a blue light? Yes, the cellophane worked best, and the plastic bag color blue worked pretty well too. Yesterday, we learned about the first and youngest woman to go into space. Do you remember her name? Some of you remembered. Yes, we learned about the cosmonaut Valentina Tereshkova, and she spent just under 3 days in space and orbited, or went around, the Earth 48 times. I hope she didn't get dizzy. And that brings us to today, astronauts. Engineers. Are our shadow puppet theaters ready for a show? You're right, they're not. So I hope your cereal boxes are ready and dried because we're going to start with those. Engineers, to complete today's work, you will need your 2 re-glued cereal boxes, your paper towel roll track with the strings, some wax or white paper, your blue translucent material, scissors, tape, or glue, and your puppets. So go ahead and gather what you need while I check my materials. So I have my blue and white paper, some scissors, string, just in case. Okay, I think I have everything ready. So let's start by putting our papers into our cereal boxes. Make sure that when you cut your wax paper, that they are a little bigger than the rectangle that you cut out on the box. Watch how I do it. So I'm gonna get my paper. So if I put it here, if I put it right on the edge, that'll be the same size. So I'm gonna slide it in. And so what I like to do, scientists, I just make a little corner that I'm gonna cut to. And I only cut to there. And then the other way. If you're not comfortable using scissors, be sure to ask an adult to help you with this part. All right, so you're gonna make 2 of these because you want it for both of your boxes. So you could just put it on top of the paper and just cut it out again. It's okay if they're not perfect because we're gonna cover these parts. Awesome. So, see how I made these? Like I said, make sure you do one for each box. If your blue transparent material is big enough, you're gonna make it this size and you're gonna place it behind one of the white papers and make sure it stays in place. If it's not big enough, you're just gonna have to hold it to your light source. Watch how I place the papers in here and measure mine if I need it. So I like to put tape on the inside of the papers. And make sure I get the corners, 2 corners down first. I take it, put it inside, press it to the corners. And then I get 2 pieces of tape and do that to the other side. Then you do that with the other. Let me move that out of the way, scientists. I think these are all, white papers are in place. Now I just need my transparent blue film. Ah, good thing I already cut this ahead of time. So let's place that. Great. Awesome job. Now we need to set up our theater. We're going to put the 2 cereal boxes together, edge to edge. I recommend taping it if you want to start using it today. You can use glue if you're going to use it later. Watch how I put the 2 boxes together. So let me get my tape. So you can roll some of the tape up and put it along one of the boxes. And you don't want too much tape sticking out because that will change your shadows. All right. And then put them together. Make sure they can stand together. You can add a little on the top. And be careful not to push too hard on these because your papers will rip. And we'll put some tape on the bottom too. Hold in place. Ooh, engineers, do you see our theater coming together? It's so odd to remember that all these items used to be something else. But let's keep going. I think we're just missing our part that moves. So you will need an adult's help soon, but you can do this part on your own. We're gonna cut some parts of our box and also tape down the track. Watch and follow along with me. So when you put your track, you want to measure out first where you'd like it to be. And this is where I'm going to have to make cuts because I can't just put it on top. So you can get a marker and measure where you're going to have to make little snips. And maybe right here, right there. So I'm just going to cut there. And you can cut it off or just let it sit there. Not a big problem. Ah, there it is. Right, so see how you can flatten this part now? Then you're gonna put the track on. It should fit. And I'm gonna use some tape. Make sure you go around your stopper because otherwise your string won't go through. So don't tape that string down. All right, shouldn't move. Awesome. So this is the time when you'll need an adult's help. You're going to need to make 2 holes in the corners of the boxes, and you're gonna put the strings through them. You can watch this part to see how I do it, but we're gonna fast forward some parts because it can take a while. If you get frustrated, take a deep breath and keep trying. Right. I'm gonna pull, so I made my first hole. And I'm gonna try to pull the string through. But sometimes you might need to get like a little pen or a marker and make the hole bigger. Okay, almost. All right, so I got that first string through. And now I have to do this side. Uh-oh, Maestra put too much tape here. You can also fold the cardboard a little bit and make sure the hole gets through there if you have a hard time making the holes. Oh, kind of reminds me of like what we did over here. All right, so let's test it out to see if it works. I'm gonna pull this string. And now the other way. Oh my gosh. Wow, I can't wait to play with this. So engineers, did we make a shadow puppet theater that uses force, light, and different materials? I think so too. So engineers, I was going to put on a show for you in my new shadow puppet theater, but I just realized that our time is up. But don't worry, you will have plenty of time to play with this. Next week is our spring break, so we won't have any new episodes of SF Loves Learning. But I'm hoping that all of you can still tinker and be engineers without me. You can play with your shadow puppet theater and make stories, or you can even make a new one with another engineer. What do you plan on doing with your box? Woo! Some of you are going to modify or add to them, and some are just going to start using them. I love it. Well, engineers, please enjoy the rest of today's show. I'm going to miss all of you next week, but I look forward to learning with you in April. See ya!